This is Gariyaband, towards the south of Raipur city in central India. In its jungles are many settlements of the Muria tribe. Where did they come from and when? How did they get here and why? Certainly long ago, very long ago. And perhaps from Bastar district, just south of Gariyaband. There are no records, but we can speculate. The Murias never kept records. For them, remembrance flowed from their songs and dances, their legends and customs. Today they still remember, but vaguely. The world has been opening up to outside influences and is changing swiftly. There has been a significant attrition of their culture, and their history is fading from their memories.
हमार जगह भूमि बस्तर घर से हम आए नहीं मोर बूढ़ा तो यहाँ से आए है ये गाँव गड़िया भाटा मोर दादी मान लेकिन वो बस्तरी गोटला पूछतो हम नहीं जाना बाप दादी मन जाना रही हम तो नहीं आए हाँ इस तरफ से सब तो उतरे हैं बस्तर तरफ से कहाँ कहे पर मगर स्थान हम नहीं जान सकन कौन जगह से उतरान करी जाए मगर सब बस्तर तरफ सभी के गांव घोड़ा है रहेगा मगर सियाना मन बहुत दिन ले निकल के आके इधर बसेर करें तो वो धुरिया के बाद ला हमन जान नहीं सका मगर सही बस्तरिया हम गाड़ी बस्तर से कैसे मालूम नहीं रही अब आथन जाथन गाँव में तो कैसे नहीं रही मालूम तो जाथन जगह में आथन जाथन देवता धामी के लिए तो बराबर ख्याल है भाई बंधु हो भी हाँ नहीं कहते न हो एक बाप के है धालिकार के नानी सब है बस अफत करी ऐसे हमको ठेका था ना होता समझ के नहीं समझ भाई वो पूर्वज यहाँ बतात रही मगर बोला मैं जान नहीं सकूँ मैं जहाँ से मोर दादी आजी आए हैं वहाँ तक के बता सकूँ
आज से कई साल पहले वैसी टाइप का था बस्तर जैसे रहा वैसे यहाँ भी था पर आज यहाँ धीरे धीरे शिक्षित हो रहे हैं यहाँ से कुछ परिवर्तन होगा
Change, vicissitude, displacement, assimilation, adaptation. For better or for worse, the Murias live in the throes of transition. Slash and burn cultivation once formed the basis of Muria life. Today, it is banned. Land was once territory, not property. Today, they are learning to live with a difference. The Muria lifestyle has been changing for some decades now, and these changes have mostly been to their disadvantage. Today, control over jungle resources has completely shifted away from this tribal community. Powerlessness has led to the erosion of their heritage. They once determined their own traditions. Now the Murias live according to new laws. Laws that they are only barely aware of.
उधर खेती से काम करते हैं इधर बिहान खेती काम करते हैं जंगल में काय काम करते हैं तो खेती से काम करते हैं कहीं जंगल भी तो धर यहाँ नहीं खेती है और काय जंगल में काय काम करते
The advance of the plough-using agrarian village economy over tribal India is a recurring historical phenomenon. Permanent occupation of fields has become a norm, tending towards private property. Dwindling jungle resources have made food production more efficient than food gathering as a means of survival. agriculture has become the most important element in the tribal economy. Muria villages are still built in the traditional manner. Their aesthetics are in simple and elegant harmony with their jungle environment. These concepts of design have survived the rapid and sustained erosion of their tribal culture. But it is a tenuous survival. This vibrant legacy urgently needs to be researched and nurtured. Else, it too will eventually be overwhelmed, mutate and die out, the way much of Muria heritage has. The Muria habitat in Gariyaband is adjacent to the Chhattisgarh region. The tribe is deeply influenced by the communities residing there. Already, their language and social and religious customs have much in common with the Chhattisgarhi culture. In time, there will be almost complete identity between the two. In time, this dominance will be complete and the tribal culture will wither away. Historically, the passage from tribe to caste has been a feature of progress in most parts of India. The Gariyaband Muria has started on this inexorable journey, gradually abandoning the tribal way of life simply because of its impossibility. It will be an evolution based on atrophy. On the surface, it appears as if the tribals of India live in splendid and undisturbed isolation, in simple coherence with their environment. But in reality, it is an environment seriously endangered, an isolation which is truly neglect. Hunting and trapping once formed an important part of their lives. Traps, nets, and other hunting implements can still be found in some Muria households. These are rarely used today. Very few tribals know how to use them. Besides, hunting and trapping are no longer viable. The animals have all gone, and with them, an entire way of life. The settled agrarian method is less uncertain than the way of the hunter. The past was very different. What the future will be. It usually is. But rarely has a community been wrenched out of one era and pushed into another as drastically as the Murias have been. And rarely have such communities been as helpless and unprepared as the Murias are. The Murias are trying to keep up with the world, but mostly they find themselves overtaken by it. Tree felling is strictly licensed. the sal trees can only be bought by those who can afford them and who are educated enough to understand official procedure. The Murias do not belong to this class of society. Not yet, and not in the foreseeable future. The collection of non-timber forest resources is an important activity. Whoever is not required in the field spends the day collecting oil seeds and leaves. These are sold to a contractor who owns the commercial rights for the entire area. This business is worth millions of rupees. The government supervises everything. All the same, the Muria remains poor. Fortunes are made by the urban contractors. The Murias, who believe that they once owned the jungle, are left out. Economically, they have shifted from cooperative interdependence to competitive relationships, and they have yet to learn how to compete. The rapid monetization of the economy has only introduced them to one fact: the reality of poverty. Unable to depend on the jungle for sustenance, the Muria is forced to go shopping, like all the rest of us. They have become very dependent on the weekly markets held in most villages. The merchant always travels further and faster than the doctor or the teacher, and he takes cash. Bartering is at an end. Besides, there is not much left in the jungle to barter with. Consequently, the Muria's need for cash is growing, and they have limited opportunities for earning money. With this world of theirs so completely engulfed, they even pray to different gods. So persuasive are the forces of change that even their gods have been displaced. Unlike their brethren in the more inaccessible Bastar district, the Murias here have given up their original tribal religion, Anga worship. Religious beliefs are now centered around Hindu deities and customs. Amongst the new influences, the most radical appear to be in the realm of belief and mythology. This domination is not yet complete. Muria death rites are generally conducted according to their ancient traditions. They have always buried their dead, and this practice is largely followed even today. Despite this, however, the inscriptions on the graves refer to Hindu deities, and cremation is an increasingly acceptable custom. In this sphere, as in every other, the Muria reveals an uneasy attempt to reconcile and commingle with the dominant culture. The current religion fills the void caused by the abandonment of their tribal roots. Their culture was marginalized so decisively by outside influences that eventually they rejected it themselves. Only a few elderly Murias remember the original gods of the jungle, and even these memories are fragile. Vestiges of their original Anga worship remain, but they have lost all spiritual significance. Certain structures, like the Seraha swing, have no function in the present rituals. They are gradually falling apart. The old temples look the same as ever, but the gods within them are new.
वो क्या हुआ इधर यहाँ के ये रायपुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट के हिसाब से वो चेंज हो गए, नहीं तो वैसे तो आंगादेव यहाँ भी पहले मानते थे, बाकी अब ये रायपुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में आने की वजह से वो आंगादेव वो छोड़ दिए और उसके जगह फिर दूसरे दूसरे देवी मानते हैं, आंगे की जगह पे दूसरे देवी मानते हैं, जैसे ये भीमा है और ये ध्रुवा, ये कंचन ध्रुवा, इनके सब वो आंगा के हिसाब से यहाँ उसके वो दूसरे टाइप का वो बनाया है, लकड़ी का लाठी, उसको मान।
There are two Angas in Gariyaband. The tribe has decided to send these gods back to Bastar. Their significance here is at an end. Also gone forever are their traditional dormitories, the Ghotuls, where the Muria youth imbibed the value system of their tribe. Through dance and song, they kept in touch with the history of their people. Present rituals have nothing to replace this.
नहीं है, वो सब बंद करिए। घोटुल मोटुल कुछ नहीं है ना, मांदर डूडरा कुछ नहीं है, सबको बंद कर।
घोटुल रहा है बाबू कहल तो हाँ ये डोकरी मन का अलग जानती करती हमने भाई बंद करो कहने ये मन करती का घोटुल ला बंद करो करती।
अब कौन जाने काय कारण बंद करी, बस सगा बंद करी।
वही सब नए नए गाने वगैरह ये सब हो गए ना, इसलिए उनको बंद कर दी पुरानी संस्कृति।
या तो हाय रहे बल, लेकिन अब बंद तो कर दी सगा कुटुंब मांदा डूडरा ला बहुत नहीं चलान, बड़ा बाजा में चला था।
घूम जाएगा और फिर वो जैसे आपके शहरों में चेंज होता है उसी प्रकार वो भी चेंज हो जाएगा। ये जब जो पुराने संस्कृति जो है ना ये सब मिट जाएंगे।
भाषा हमारे तरफ बोलते हैं पूर्वज के सियाना लोग, मगर अभी हम बोल नहीं सका। यही भाषा अभी बोला था, वही भाषा हमारा आते।
और गोंडी बोली इसीलिए ये बोलना भी छोड़ दिए क्योंकि माँ बाप ने हम लोगों को सिखाया नहीं गोंडी बोलना। अगर वो सिखाए होते तो हम सीख जाते।
तीन जानहान ने बाबू मोड़ी भाषा वाली तो हम बोलना।
हाँ हमारे दादी आजी मन बोला थे, मगर हमला तो समझ नहीं पड़े, नहीं बोल सका।
उसको बचाने के लिए फिर वही सब जितने आदिवासी हैं उनको फिर सबको ये गोंडी भाषा सिखाना पड़ेगा, तभी फिर वो सब पुरानी संस्कृति जो है वो कायम होगा।
Tribal solidarity is vanishing without any greater respect from or for the more advanced society into which they are merging. The pace of change will no longer be subtle but startling. To adapt is to survive. This they have learned. To discriminate is to preserve. This they have been denied. To be aware during a period of transition is to experience emotional loss continuously. This is what we have seen. Not the extinction of a tribe, but the death of a culture.